Here I am in the Edge browser on the Google search page. If I type in something down here, it's going to use the Google search engine. But if I type in a search term up here, it's going to use the default search engine, which on Edge is Bing, unless I change it. And if I come over here and I type in a search term, it's going to search with Bing also. Let's work on how to change that. So I'm going to come over to settings. And I'm going to go to this hamburger menu. And I'm going to go to privacy settings and go all the way to the bottom. And we get the address bar and search. I'm going to click over there. And we're going to change this to Google. And now if I come over here and I type in test, it's going to search with Google first, or I could switch with Bing. The others, normally it's set to this way. If I type in test down here, it's going to search with Bing. But if I change that to go to the address bar, when I type in test, did you see? Okay. When I type, I'm down here, as soon as I type in a letter, any letter, it's going to jump up to the address bar, T-E-S-T, and it's going to search with Google. That's how you change a default search engine. You come in here and you change this to be your default for the address bar, and on the new tab page, if you want the search bar to search Bing, then you leave it alone. Otherwise, you make that the same as the address bar search bar. And that's how that works. Another change I like to make is I like to add a home button up here to get me back to this home page. And so I'm going to go again to settings in the hamburger menu, and on appearances, I have the light theme. I have my zoom set to 100% because I can see that on this. Turn this on. This is a new feature. This is that vertical tabs button. If I turn that off, that goes away. And normally I want a home button. So I get this little house and I want it to go to my home page. And I've got my favorites to only show up on the new tabs page. I've got different buttons that I like to show. I don't show my history button. I don't show the feedback button. And I would not recommend you changing away from the recommended font size or going to custom fonts. I have seen too many people come in and they can't read their pages anymore. You're better off just to work with zooming to get things to work the way that you want. So this is where we are. And that's how you turned on that home button up there. The next thing we'll look at is the on startup page. And this is where you can start up by opening the new page. So you can be here every time you start it up. You continue where you left off. That opens all of the tabs that were closed when you did that. Again, that leads to a lot of trouble. I like to open a specific page. For me, it's Google because the thing I'm going to do is search. For a lot of people, it's their email or a news feeding. It depends on what you do. Most often, I like to go to the Google page because it's very light and it's what I'm going to be doing. The next item down this hamburger menu that we're going to look at is the share, copy, and paste. When you copy something from a URL, if I grab this and I copy, and I come over here and paste, it's going to come out like this. It's a perfectly formed hyperlink instead of the instead of saying http://www.vrcc.info, it is going to say Vista Royale Computer Club, but it's going to still take you there. That's great. It's fine if you're not going to be in print. A lot of my stuff goes to print, so I would much rather have it be rather have it be in plain text. So when I copy, again, I'm going to copy this. And when I switch over to my document, and I'm going to paste this, it's going to say vrcc.info. So that's the difference. That's another setting that you're going to want to change. Here we are in the settings hamburger menu. We're down to cookies and site permissions. We're not going to dwell on the site as much as we should. That should be a whole different video. This is where you can manage and delete your cookies. This is where you can see all the permissions that you've granted sites. If some sites are taking advantage of you, you might want to go in there. This is where your pop-ups are. Your pop-up blocker should be on, and you can see who you've allowed to go pop through. But what we're going to be doing is looking at media autoplay. Media play, you get allow or limit, and that's by default. There's another setting. We're going to go to edge flags. This is an experimental feature. We're going to set, go to autoplay. And enable this. Oh, and I'm going to have to restart this. So now I'm going to go back to settings. Go back to my hamburger menu and go down to cookies and site permissions. And find my media autoplay. And now I've got allow, limit, or block. And that's what I would want to do, is block autoplays of videos because it drives me crazy. And finally, we're going to visit downloads. Every single browser comes with this, ask me what to do with download, with each download turned off. So they all go to downloads, unless you change it. Why you would, I have no idea. I like mine to go to downloads. unless I navigate away. But this should be turned on. And let me just show you how a download works in Edge. I'm on Family Search where I can download, and this one happens to call everything record image. And you see this _/2. You see this _2 with the parentheses? That means that it already saw a record-image file name. So it appended it. This is the third copy because the first one was record image. Then there's with _1 _/2. This will go on up to 254. And then your downloads just plain stop working if they have the same name. So it automatically brought it down and said, gave it this appendage of the /2. I'm going to change that setting to say ask me. And I'm going to download again. And it gives me the save as. And now I can give it a useful name. I could also put it in a different folder. I could put it up in my documents, or I can put it in my downloads, and wherever I put it, the next one will follow this location. So save as. So those are the two files that I have downloaded. If I again turn that off, this would, and I hit download, it just automatically goes, and you can see it's just incrementing that number one at a time. No meaningful name. And at 254, that will be the last one that it will allow. And after that, you're dead in the water. One of the settings that I use in my other browsers isn't here, and that's what happens when you close multiple tabs. On my other browsers, I was always able to set up a warning that would stop me, would say, oh, you're shutting multiple tabs. Did you really want to do that? Yes or no? So this, if I do this, is just going to automatically close the tab. There's no warning, but both Chrome and Edge have a different way of dealing with it. So I'm going to close this. Oops, I'm going to reopen my Edge browser. And I am going to use Control-Shift-T to open the closed window. And there it is with all 4 tabs. The other window is behind it. That was the one that I originally opened. I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to close this one. And I'm going to come back in. If I hit Control-Shift-T again, oh, it just closed that simple one. But if I hit Control-Shift-T a third time, there is my window restored with all 4 tabs. So I've got 2 windows open now. One has 2 Google tabs and one has 4 tabs. So that's what Edge does in lieu of not having a warn when closing multiple tabs setting.